To all of those above me that watch over me, to all of you, my fave parapeeps on this side of the veil, welcome. This is Reverend Sean Whittington's Paranormal Ministry. I'm your host, Reverend Sean the Rev. Welcome to my haunted home, my very haunted home. Been a little active today, and I have a feeling it's because of my guest, and I will get to him as soon as I can. I know that's why you're all here anyway, so I'm excited to speak with him, and he will be up here shortly. Let me get a couple of things out of the way first. So many things I want to speak to you about, but the show's only an hour long, so let me get down to it. Somebody sent me a message during last week's show and asked me, we got on the topic of children being targets of the demonic, and somebody asked how many cases I had worked with children, and my answer I typed in there was just a lot. I would have to actually go to my records and check in my files and check my records to get an exact count. But sadly enough, a lot. Animals and children are targets. So for that reason, I've decided today's prayer I'm going to offer up to all the children that not only have I helped, and to all the ones that I was not able to help, and to all those out there that I will meet one day and help, and to all those out there that need help that I may never know about. And I ask that all of you also keep them in your prayers when I offer this very powerful prayer coming up. But I want the prayer to also be offered up for a good friend of the family. I've known her since she was probably in elementary school. She's been a very close, long time, close friend of the Whittington family. Her name is Deborah Parker, 50 years old. Just recently, suddenly and unexpectedly passed away. And so I want you to also keep her and her family in your prayers. And I'm also offering up this prayer to her too. Who I'm offering up this prayer to and for is Saint Philomena. And for those of you that don't know who Saint Philomena is, quick backstory on her. I want to say the 800s or the 900s. She visited a psychic nurse, not a nurse, but a nun who was very psychically gifted. And in a vision and coming to her, introduced herself to her and told her her story. Apparently, when she was 13 years old, she was a Greek princess, as the story goes, and she, at the age of 13, converted to Catholicism and took a vow of celibacy for her becoming a Catholic. Her family was invited to Italy for some big, I guess, festival or whatever, to meet the ruling family. And the ruler there fell in love with her and wanted to marry her. Well, she refused. So, as many rulers did back then, he tortured her. She was scourged, she was drowned, she was shot with arrows. And every single time she was tortured, angels would come to her side and rescue her. And finally, the emperor got tired of that. He just beheaded her. And the family took the bones and buried them back in her village in Greece somewhere. Well, this nun was able to take people to the grave and find these bones of Saint Philomena. When the bones were exhumed, they were, I would assume they were buried probably in a church or a monastery somewhere. But many years later, she was canonized in the Catholic religion and the Catholic Church as a saint. And then they moved the bones again into this place where they hold the bones and the relics of saints. And all of a sudden, something miraculous started happening. Miracles started just sweeping through the countryside and the village where she was from, mainly the children dying from diseases that they had no cures for at the time. Just the diseases were going away. Children that were being targeted by the demonic were just all of a sudden being left alone. So she's referred to as the patron saint of children. And so I'm going to offer this prayer up to her. It's a very powerful prayer. And it's also for my friend Deborah. If you guys want to get any love and light and good vibe from this prayer, or add some love and light and some of your good vibe to it, just reach out, touch your computer screen, and bow your head and close your eyes. Here we go. In the name of the Father, and of the Son, and the Holy Spirit. Amen. O illustrious Saint Philomena, whose name is glorified in heaven and feared in hell, I, thy devout client, turn unto thee today. To thee I have recourse in all the dangers which daily surround me. I beg thee to protect me from the harmful presence of the devil. Help me overcome all the tactics of hell. Be my strength in the battle against the forces of darkness, and preserve me, both body and soul, from all demonic retaliation. I humbly ask thee, by the power of Jesus Christ, thy spouse, to expel the evil spirits that haunt me and accompany me always, so that the evil one may not come near me. Lord Jesus Christ, grant that through the intercession of the Blessed Virgin Mary, who crushed the head of the serpent, and thy handmaid Saint Philomena, I may be delivered from all wicked spirits and enjoy thy peace always. Amen. Okay. And it would be fitting for all the children of the world and my friend, Deborah, to get a large candle. And this candle will enjoy the show with us, and then I will put it in the room with all the other candles after the show. May the Holy Spirit enter and intervene in the lives of all the children of the world who are suffering demonic retaliation right now. And may St. Philomena welcome my friend Deborah into heaven with open arms. Amen. Alrighty, guys. If there's anything you want to know about me and my wife and our ministry work, go to our website, www.ghost-b-gone.biz. When you go there, remember, we don't charge for our ministry work, helping people with their paranormal issues. So I know times are tough, but if you notice the donate button and you're able to do so, click on it and send in a small donation. I promise you it'll be appreciated from the bottom of our hearts, and we will put it to good use, I assure you. In addition to being an ordained exorcist, I am also a certified spiritual advisor and intuitive coach. If you have issues of a spiritual nature not attached to the paranormal and you want to speak to the Rev about that, you can make an appointment to speak with me there. But don't leave the website without going back to the page called the WSE course/book. On that page, you'll find the ghost store. Cool things in there to buy, like this awesome throwback Ghost Be Gone coffee cup, hats, hoodies, all kinds of good stuff if you go for that stuff. But scroll down to the bottom, you'll see my new haunted autobiography, God, Ghosts, and the Paranormal Ministry. And I quote, the scariest book I ever published. That was Annette Munich, owner of Stellium Books, my publisher. But please, don't let that scare you off of purchasing a copy. Part of the proceeds of every sale of every copy of my book goes to support stjude.org and St. Jude's Children's Research Hospital, Nevada, and that is a beautiful thing. And I just added something new to it. I've been in the animal care industry most of my adult life, so this was a no-brainer. I've added the ASPCA, so you get to help the animals too. Scroll a little further down on that page, you'll see the Worldwide Society of Exorcists, which I am a founding member. I offer a 12-week online college-level course, Introduction to Spiritual Warfare, through the WSC. And if you are a warrior for Christ, or you feel a calling to want to have more knowledge on how to draw your line in the sand, circle the wagons, and make a stand, and put up a good fight against, God forbid, true evil if it ever comes calling, that's the course for you. You can enroll in the course at the website, or you can go to the Worldwide Society of Exorcists Facebook page and read more about the course if you'd like to. But please keep all of my former, current, and future students in your prayers. Thank you. All right, the moment of truth. Been wanting to meet this guy for a long time. This is going to be a good show. We're going to have fun. You're all going to want him to come back. And I know he'll come back. So, without further ado, oh my gosh, his resume goes on and on and on and on. Founder of Things. And if you don't know what Things stands for, look it up. Co-owner of the Paranormal United Network, which my show is simulcast on. So when the owner of the Paranormal United Network says, hey, put me on your show, you got to do it. And what else does the guy do? The guy does everything. He's just a cool dude. We'll get into all of that stuff. But anyway, please welcome to the show, brothers and sisters, the one and only Jeremy York. Jeremy, are you with us, brother?
I'm here.
Okay, guys, everybody, I'm going to invite you all right now. And you're not going to hurt anybody's feelings. Me and Jeremy, we're both, we wear our emotions on our sleeve, but we're not going to get uptight about it. Go ahead. You guys can put in the comment room who's got the better beard. You guys can also put in the comment room. We already know. I've learned in the past several months doing the show, people think I either look like Jack Black or Dog the Bounty Hunter. So having said that, I've had people actually, Jeremy, ask me if you and I are related. When I started promoting the show, put your picture up there, people were wanting to know if we were related. So you guys can throw all those comments, what you think. I know he's got much longer hair than mine. I still got a little bit of something back there, But welcome, brother.
I can solemnly swear I have never seen this guy before in my life.
And you may never want to see me again after today. Anyway, welcome, brother. Let's have some fun because I'm going to want you to come back. This show's going to be easy for me because all your fans and followers sent me in questions. And I always ignore them, and people always get back to me later. Sean, I sent you this question a week before the show, and you didn't ask the guest this. So I don't want to ignore anybody today, but I do have a couple off the top I want to ask you about.
All right.
Pandemic. The last year and a half, everybody wishes they could wave a magic wand and have a do-over. How have you and your family and everyone close to you that you love and care about, how have they held up the past year and a half? And oh my gosh, I hope we're not about to get into something similar to that with the new variants. How's everything going in the family?
Well, I'll tell you this. For me personally, the pandemic hasn't really affected me that much. I was still able to work. That never slowed down. The only differences that actually happened were bowling tournaments getting canceled on me, like right at the last minute. So we didn't get a chance to go to Reno, Nevada last year at all. That got canceled about 3 weeks before I was supposed to go. So I was kind of upset about that. But we did go to Vegas this year for the tournament. And it just went on like nothing had ever happened.
When was that?
For Vegas, that was at the first week of May. Yeah, the city had just opened back up. I think the week prior, or maybe 2 weeks prior to that. It was a pretty busy city when I got there.
Yes, it is. It's just gotten more and more and more busy. But there's ugly rumors going around that could all change here pretty quick. I'm hoping not, but I'm never down there anyway. I'm not a gambler. I've lived here, long time, probably 30 years. My wife's been here 40, but we're just not those kind of people. We never really went to the casinos and stuff. So a lot of people that don't
for the deals.
Yeah.
I stay there for the deals, and they got the restaurants right there, so I don't really even have to go anywhere. I don't have to leave the building. Where I stayed at was the South Point Casino, which is clear on the south part of town, and they got a freaking steak shake there. They got a steak and shake in the building, so that's why I went for dinner every night.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, that's a good place, and you're right. It is on the outskirts, extreme south end of the strip, kind of out in the boonies. Yeah, very cool, very cool. Well, I'm glad I've everybody that I know, whether I've met them or not, as time has gone on, I've thrown up so many prayers for everybody that we're all going to come through this thing. So, and you've been on that list, so I'm glad the family's doing good and all this sort of stuff. It's kind of funny with what we do. I haven't just gone ghost busting in forever. Um, and no one ever said that ghost busting was an essential business. But and of course, I know a lot of conventions and conferences got
Uh-huh.
canceled, and people going overseas had trips planned overseas for
Yeah.
ghost hunting stuff got pushed back. But I did see many people still going out there and doing their thing. Haunted tours, they social distance, they had the masks on, um, tours of alleged haunted sites, overnight ghost hunts and stuff. People were, the teams were smaller, people were masked up and stuff. So people still got their fair share of ghost busting in.
Mhm.
And did you find that the case for you and your team things and all that?
Believe it or not, last year we had more cases than we'd ever had. We
Wow,
had 60 different nights where we were doing investigations. Now,
very cool.
I keep a log of all the investigations that we go to, whether if I'm involved in it or not. If it's somebody from my team that goes somewhere, I put it down in a log. And last year we had 60 of them, 60 locations,
Wow.
60 different nights, which was about 15 more than the previous year. And right now we're at about half of that this year.
Very, very cool. Good for you. And it's probably, my wife and I remember the town here went into a lockdown right on St. Patrick's Day
Mm-hmm.
last year. And I was on my way to a book signing and it got canceled. And we sat down and made the very difficult decision that we were not, because of our ages. I'm 61, she's 76. And we both have had our fair share of underlying health issues over the years. We decided we would not go see any clients for their safety and ours. So I've been working still cases, but it's been like over the phone, Zoom, Facebook Live with these people. And what it did was I tried to look at the silver lining of it. And what that was I became a better counselor, and I was able to get these people to realize more so than when I just show up. People tend to just kind of turn off and just expect me to do my thing. But
Mm-hmm.
I got people to realize that they are the ones that truly have the power within themselves to fight back, get their life, get their home back,
Yep.
get whatever's there menacing them to move on. So that was the silver lining to that unfortunate situation. But it is what it is. But we're both here now. You look great. I'm glad you're doing good. I love the show, The 13th Dimension, and you being a co owner of the Paranormal United Network. Thank you for simulcasting my show on there. Um,
We're
I
glad to have
know,
you on.
well, I know my show's not coast to coast. You guys have been patient and um, and give me a nice home there. So it's been very refreshing because you can't find that everywhere. So the network's great. I wish you guys the best. It's growing like leaps and bounds as you and I are sitting here speaking. So that's a testament to your hard work and your team's hard work. So
Well,
okay,
we got a lot. We got a lot coming up. That's for sure.
I know you do. Um, what do some of your people want to know here? Okay, here's another one of my questions. I gotta ask you this. I'm gonna put some. I know people are getting mad at me right now. They think I'm gonna forget their questions. Here's another one too. This is the first time I've seen this. Many years ago, before my wife, she's a survivor of three very rare forms of cancer. But when she first got sick, all of a sudden our lives were turned upside down. So for 5 6 years there, everything that we were doing, we had to stop. But we were members of a very well-known large motorcycle club out here called the Red Riders. Did you ever see the movie 3,000 Miles to Graceland?
I have not.
Well, there's a scene in there where Kevin Costner kills a gas station attendant, takes his girl, blows the gas station up, and then as he's driving away, a motorcycle gang pulls behind him and then passes him on the left. And the leader of the gang in the back stops to chat with him a little bit while they're still riding. And then the motorcycle leader gets the girl. Well, that's us. That was the Red Riders. We filmed that out in Nelson, Nevada. And we had to stop doing that, but I'm stalking you for information for the interview today. And I didn't know that there was a Things Paranormal Investigator Motorcycle Club. I saw you in your leathers. What's that? What was that about? Very cool looking leathers.
Okay, so that leather vest is not mine. That vest actually belongs to a good friend of mine, Nick Millet, who is another host here on this network, and we were working together at the jail in Crown Point, Indiana, on a special project that's been going on for about 4 months now. And there was this running joke between him and Rosie Page. She keeps telling him that she was going to steal his vest, and he swore be damned that she would never get it, that nobody would ever get his vest. So at one point while we were in this jail, I just happened to be at in the housing part of it at the very front. He was back in the jail doing his thing, and he left his vest on the chair. I thought, okay, well, let me snap some pictures of me holding on to this thing. So if you see one of my old profile pictures, you'll see me holding it up like this with a real mischievous look, like that. And I posted it everywhere. And then I thought, okay, I'm going to try this thing on. I want to see how it fits. And I put it on, and I have a friend of mine take pictures of me with it. I'm like, you know what? I look pretty good in that jacket. And it just kind of blew up from there. And next thing I know, Nick has got these wanted posters of me. Jeremy York wanted for stealing this vest. Reward is like $13 or something like that. Oh man, we had so much fun. But yeah, that vest actually belongs to Nick Millet. That's not mine, but I do intend on getting me a vest of my own because I liked how it looked. I really did. I liked how it looked, and I think it'd be a good fit for my team.
Yeah, it's unique because normally you just see vests like that being worn by members in motorcycle clubs. Right. So to have the Things logo and have the huge paranormal investigator patches on the back was pretty cool. I thought that was kind of neat.
I think it would be cool. I don't ride a motorcycle, but that doesn't mean I don't want the vest.
Okay, I'm going to get into questions from your fans and followers.
Okay.
Some of them are kind of silly here, and maybe you know what they mean. Someone wants to know, Jeremy York, is he a member of the family of the York Peppermint Patty dynasty? I'll let you answer that.
I don't know how to answer that one.
And it's funny because the next question says, you've got a lot of nicknames. The Yorkster, Adonis, some names that our mutual friend, my producer, Adrian Hart, I'm not going to mention on air, and she talks about you behind your back all the time. So we'll have to get together privately and go over that stuff. Somebody wants to know, have you ever been referred to lovingly as a sweet peppermint patty?
No, I have not. I've been called many things, but not that one.
Okay, well, hey, there's still time.
Oh, yeah. Well, now that has been said on the show, I'm pretty sure somebody will try. We'll say that.
Okay, here we go. Somebody wants to know, so many people in our field. I know I am, and I don't think it's so much me. I do think it's mostly my home, but I go back so many years being in this field, and it's probably a fair share of me too. It's like I know animals can see spirit, so many times I will walk into treatment or surgery or somewhere in the animal hospital I work at, and there'll be animals there being worked on, and they'll be, you know, maybe a little unruly because every animal comes in thinking that you're going to kill them. They don't know we're trying to help them. And when I sometimes I'll enter the room and they'll just stop and they'll just look and they'll start looking around me. Cats and dogs both. And I think they may be seeing spirit. And I'm going, who's this creepo dude that came in here now? As if things couldn't get any worse. So some of your friends and fans want to know, are you haunted?
Am I haunted?
Are you haunted?
I am, but in a very different way. But as far as the true haunted, um, I
Because
don't.
sometimes guys like us, excuse me, we get excuse me, we get attachments, and we don't realize they're there. And sometimes they just kind of linger around. Some of them can be friendly and not
Mhm.
so much like energy vampires, but they can just be around us because we're in that field and we put off the type of energy that attracts them. And then they're just kind of around. Have you sensed that all in all the years you've been doing this?
I don't really. I'm not the kind of person who has those kind of feelings. I don't sense anything. I don't have any type of empathic ability. So though there are some people that say I do, I don't feel like I don't. But there is a friend of mine, Irene. She every time we do a show on 13th Dimension or Petri Dish, um, she would always say that I've got like some male spirit by me, like a guardian of some sort. And I'm thinking, well, if he's my guardian, I'm pretty sure I give him a headache sometimes because of some of the stuff that I do. Um, but I think that's probably about as as close as it can get as far as me being haunted on that level.
Well, you're lucky. You're lucky. I see them. It can be even after, I was seeing them when I was little, and even after all of these years, it can still be quite, quite, it can shake you up. It's like I'm thinking of a time when I was actually in the frozen section at the market, and I'm actually talking to a person who's in the reflection of the glass, who's waiting for me to get out of the way because I can't decide what I want. And I know they want to get in the freezer, only to back up to get out of the way, but then there was nobody there. But there's other real people in the aisle that are watching me talk to nobody. So now I've got everybody staring at me like I'm a crazy man. So I've had to put up with a fair share of that. And I'm only human, It's just um, people want to know why. And I know why people want to know this question because everybody's answer is different. And there has to be a real good reason. Not everybody wants to do what we do. Sometimes people come up to me and they know what I do and they ask me, "Give me a good ghost story. Tell me about a good case you worked." And about halfway through the story, people are pale and their eyes are open. They're like, "No, you can stop talking now. I'm good. I've heard enough." So I learned the hard way that I got to be careful what I show people and tell people. But for you, why are you in the ghost biz? What happened to Jeremy York that got him on this path? Because you wear it well, you do it well. Um, what happened?
Well, believe it or not, most people don't realize this, but I never really had any kind of a paranormal experience when I jumped into the field. I never got my first true experience until several years after I got in. Um, but the reason that I got into this thing is because I saw this as a way a different way of being able to help people. Because I found through the years that a lot of people out there tend to be afraid of their homes because of things that go bump in the night. And when they try to reach out to people, a lot of people tell them, "Oh, well, you're just seeing things. You're crazy," Nothing's really happening. You need help, but that doesn't help them. And at the time, I didn't realize how saturated this field was. So that's why I decided to go ahead and form my own brand things here out of Fort Wayne, Indiana. Only to find out how many thousands of teams there actually are out there. But at the time, I wasn't really very present on Facebook, so I didn't know anything. All I knew is what I saw on TV, which I had only really seen ghost hunters and to a certain degree ghost adventures, though we won't get into that one. Uh, but with ghost hunters, I saw what they do, and I'm like, you know what? This is the way to go. This is a way to really truly help people, so that they wouldn't be afraid of their homes.
Well said, brother. And you know what? I totally didn't see that answer coming. I thought you were going to talk about an experience. So many people have them and gets them in
Oh.
this field. That is a breath of fresh air answer for me. And I think you've gained another fan in me. That's a great, you're just a good guy. And that proves it right there. And so now you've decided to jump in this field. I the one thing I don't see on Paranormal United Network, and I could be wrong. I'm not much of a gossiper. I don't, pry and spy a lot. Maybe it's right there in front of my face, and I just don't notice it. But I see so much drama still in the field. Ever since there was always drama in the field, ever since I was a young kid. So I think it's always going to be there. But when I see these other networks, and many of them have reached out to me to bring a show there, to be on there, I just see the drama. I don't see that with Paranormal United Network. And I think that is a testament to why you are the way you are. And that probably just, it's just a good thing, man. You're just a good guy, and we need more people like you in the field. Don't change. It's hard not to.
Well,
Stephen Woodard.
I always like to evolve in some way. I don't want to stay exactly how I am. I want to keep evolving. Um, and and for anybody who knows me on a personal level, knows that I loathe drama. And sometimes I'll see it start popping up, and I'll get right up into them. You knock it off, or you're gone. Because we are not going to have that here. There is no reason to have that here. If you guys have any issues, you need to work it out privately between you two, or however many's involved. But
Well,
there's
having said that, we have Stephen Woodard on here. And I can't promise you that this isn't going to be drama. So let's see what Stephen has to say. Ask Jeremy where he had a very shocking, clear paranormal experience.
So the one that he is referring to is at the Masonic Temple in Salina, Kansas.
Whoa.
Yeah.
That sounds scary.
Well, it wasn't scary, but it was definitely an eye opener. See, when I go into locations, I always walk in there expecting nothing to happen, because more times than not, nothing does happen. That was not the case at the temple. I was there for 2 nights. We were doing this thing. Stephen had invited me and some members of my team to come out, and almost right up to the point where it was time to go, there was going to be 4 of us going. The other 3 ended up having to drop out for various reasons. So I was the only one who was able to go. And it had actually gotten to the point where it was almost, I wasn't going to be able to go. But at the same time, I didn't really want to go without them, because these are members of my team, and they wanted to showcase my team, not just me, but the team. But the other 3 encouraged me, go ahead and go. This is an opportunity that this team cannot miss out on, even if it's just one person going. Okay, so I went. So the group of us were there for 2 nights, And like I said, I wasn't expecting anything to happen. But I'll tell you what, there was stuff going on both nights. Um, I was hearing all kinds of stuff that I never hear, and there was one that I felt that completely took me off guard. Um, I felt that there was a cold spot in a chair, and it was ice cold. It's like somebody was sitting there. We all put our hands there. We all confirmed, okay, this is very cold. Then we backed off, and about 5 minutes later, that same coldness, you can almost say, bum rushed me. And
Really?
it just went right by me. I felt it right here in the elbow, from like here to here. My arm was sticking out just a little bit. And it was like somebody rushed right by me, literally bumped into me. And all I felt was that coldness, and it just completely took me off guard. It was very, very shocking. And I think we got that on film too. Um, but
That is a lot of people think, oh, big deal. He got hit by a cold blast or a cold spot or a
yeah.
spirit manipulating the energy,
Mhm.
just walked through him or came up on him to let him know, I was sitting here having a good time. All you guys came over, bugging me, poking your fingers, putting your hands in my lap while I'm sitting here. And so
Yeah.
now I'm going to show you, yeah, I am here. Little bum rush action. But
Pretty
unless
much.
you've been in that situation, that's a very frightening, especially when, like, I've had spirits like that bum rush me, and it's um
You
sometimes
see,
they
nothing
stop, and
like
some
that
if
had
they
ever
go through
happened to
you,
me before.
yeah, see, and that can be scary too. But if they go through you, it almost like it takes your breath away. It almost feels like you've gone from a very warm room outside onto a balcony, and the outside air is frigid, and you've like jumped off, and
Mhm.
like when your stomach, like, you know rises up and you lose your breath, like when you're on a roller coaster, you jump off of something high. um, it's like that. It can be very frightening. I'll tell you why. To me, I've seen so many crazy things that you never know how much further it's going to escalate. Is that all this, whatever this thing is that all it can do? Coolers? Am I about to get picked up and dumped on my head, or knocked out or something? You never really know um, uh, what you're dealing with until you know what you're dealing with, and you
Right.
really never know what they're capable of. And even some of these human spirits that have been hanging around forever,
Hmm.
have eventually learned how to manipulate the energy and do things. And I always think of that movie, and I know this is a dumb comparison, but it's like that movie Ghost. You know, Patrick Swayze, after he died, he didn't know how to do anything, and the other ghosts had to show him, teach him how to learn
Right.
how to. And I really believe, on a certain level, that's the way it is in the spirit world. And
I have no doubt.
yeah, and the Masonic Lodge, dude, there's a lot of crazy things that go on. Them old Masonic lodges that have been around forever,
Hmm.
I guarantee you, there's been a lot of crazy things that have
Yeah,
gone on in
there's a
them.
lot of rumor that the Masonic lodge that we have here in Fort Wayne, just right in the middle of downtown, is supposedly very haunted.
I have no doubt.
Yeah, and
I
I've
have
been
no
wanting to
doubt.
get in there for years.
Okay, what does other people want to know from you? Oh, I know. They want to know what you and I both think of the theory that we are the ghosts.
Hmm. Okay, that's an interesting concept.
Yeah, that we are the ghosts. And there's a little in parentheses here. I added, one of the people that put that in, I added what they put in the small print. Do you think it's possible, if we are the ghosts, can we haunt ourselves? If we exist in like different dimensional fields or past lives types of things. Um, and I'll tell you what's coming to mind when I read this question is my wife seeing me like this sit here in my office working, and then I look like I'm so busy she doesn't want to come in here and bug me, so she'll go into the master bedroom, walk into the bathroom, find me in there the real me. And she wonders, well, who was it that I just saw in the bedroom? And it's like, I remember one night, I thought my wife had hung a mirror up at the end of the hall because I'm half asleep and I'm walking down the hallway and it's pretty dark in here, but I see my head looking at me and then turn and come into the office, just ahead. And I followed it into the office because I realized there was no mirror on the wall. I turned on some lights. I'm sitting here and I get on Facebook. What's the first thing I see? This very popular, well known paranormal group in England had just got done doing an investigation of my family castle there. And so I'm thinking, oh, did they stir something up and one of my ancestral spirits has come here to visit? I know that's reaching, but I just talked to a
No,
guest the
no.
other day who told me he had somebody, a woman in the car with him, and he's driving down the street. And she says, you got to stop here. I have to go up to this door. I've been at this home before. I've been here. You've got to stop. I got to go up there. He stops. He lets her out. He goes up to the door. She knocks. The people answer. And she's all, I'm so sorry. I know you don't know me. I'm so sorry for bothering you, but I feel like I've been here before. And the woman who answered the door says to her, well, you have. You haunt this place. So now I've just thrown all of that at you. What do you think on that theory? I don't know what to think on that theory. Like I
The only,
said, the more I'm in this field and the more things I experience, I realize the less I actually really know, and that's God's honest truth.
the only thing that I can think of right now would be different dimensions. Um, there are some people out there that believe that dimensions bleed onto each other in some form, and could that could that lead to certain hauntings that we have? It very well could, because like right now we are speaking to each other probably in 20,000 different dimensions, whereas there could be another dimension out there where you're interviewing Adrian and I'm the producer of this show.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that just like what you were saying there, where um, the lady was telling that girl that she was the one that haunts the place. Maybe her in the other dimension had passed away, and in that dimension haunts that house, and somehow it bled over to this reality.
Very interesting. So now what I'm thinking about asking, now this is my question now. Having said that, and some of these haunts that we experience being dimensions bleeding into each other, I'm thinking of everybody's got a theory about the residual haunt, that it's something that got imprinted on the tapestry of time, whatever that is, and it keeps playing itself over and over and over again. I've debunked a couple of alleged um, residual haunts that turned out to be intelligent. If it's more of a case of the bleeding on, then I don't buy the. I'm really not a big fan of the residual haunt theory. I still think all haunts, on a certain level, are active and intelligent. What is your take on the residual?
We haven't really had a whole lot of residuals. Everything that we've come by um, that was intelligent, that was actually active, has been intelligent. We haven't really seen a whole lot of residuals, so I cannot give a definitive answer on that one because I haven't really had a chance to personally experience and study that.
Me neither. You're not alone. I wouldn't know how to go about studying it. Well, yeah, I did. I mean, there's this lady that was always seen walking down this. They built a bowling alley out of a storm, a bomb shelter under this mansion here in town that I
Oh, now
investigated.
you're talking
And
my
this
language.
this woman was, walking down this bowling alley up the secret staircase and through a bookcase, which if you're a solid person, you can open it up, and it's
Mhm.
a secret passage into the bar on another level. And I happen to be down there, and I hear my wife walking behind me, and I take a selfie. I'm big on selfies, and I didn't know. I'll tell you what was on the photo later. But when I turn around to talk to my wife, I'm face to face with this woman that I don't know, and for a brief moment, I believe she's an actual real woman, and she got in the house somehow because it's an abandoned house. Then I realized she's not a real woman. This all probably took place in about 15 seconds, but it felt like 5 minutes. And she just stood there staring at me, and it wasn't until I stepped out of her way that she continued to walk. And then I followed her all the way up the staircase, saw her go through the cabinet, push the cabinet open. Couldn't find her, but I heard her walking in the ballroom. Couldn't see her, so I just started taking photos. And there's these big, huge mirrored pillars from ceiling to floor in the ballroom. And I caught her reflection in one of the mirrored pillars walking up another staircase. But that selfie I took behind me was a pumpkin-sized orb over my shoulder. So the photo caught her as an orb, but my eyes caught her as a full body apparition. Um, it's just crazy. So I have no clue, no theories over all of that, other than the fact that this wasn't residual for her to stop until I got out of her way.
Right.
But
So it might have been just an intelligent trying to act as a residual.
or not knowing, just repeating that. Maybe that time of night she walks the grounds, and she's the ghost of the female matriarch that spent most of her adult life living in this home that she built,
Right.
and then died in the home. And she could just be she could be walking many other places, and it just hasn't been seen yet, and that just happens to be on her route because people are down there, Listen, before we run out of time, I want to make sure everybody that's watching that isn't that familiar with you to know what's going on. I mentioned at the beginning of the show things. Tell everybody what things stands for, and then tell them about your website and your things Facebook page.
Okay, so THING stands for the Hoosiers Investigating New Ghost Society. I created the brand back in 2009, and it wasn't until 3 years ago, maybe 4 years ago, that I actually had my first actual personal experience. So that's how long it actually took. So, and what we are is we are residential based. That is our main priority, so that we can get out there and help people. Um, but we do like to go out to public locations and things like that. And we do, when we do go out there, we like to do all kinds of different experiments. And one of those experiments is the dog whistle that I do. And originally, that was only just to try to communicate with the other side. On, and it turns out that it had a very different effect, and it's taken me in a direction that I never thought possible. That I'm actually working on with John Griffin out of New York, UNI Research, and also Robert Murphy. So we are really looking forward to testing out more theories that previous results have given us. Um, People can find us on Facebook on Things Universal. I just created that not quite a year ago, and it's been quite active. Already we're almost at 2,700 members in under a year. So to me, that's quite successful.
Oh yeah, absolutely, brother. You've got the www.thingsghostsociety.com.
Yep,
You
I was
have
getting ready to bring that one up. I
you've
have not
got
worked on that website in a long time, and I'm going to be very, very soon. We're going to be having a team meeting here in 3 weeks, and we're going to be going over all kinds of different things, and plus taking new team pictures so that we can get their website updated.
well, that is very cool. You've also got the Hoosiers Investigating New Ghost Society Facebook page. I've been there. That's awesome. And well, the Paranormal United Network. I talked about it at the beginning of the show. Awesome, awesome. I look for great things. Let's talk about a podcast that I like. At the end of my show, I always tell people go to the Paranormal United Network Facebook Live page, check out their lineup. A lot of shows there way better than mine. One being the 13th Dimension, which is one that you co-host. Talk about the inception of that and how that came to be.
The idea of that one came from Scott Wilson. He called me up a couple of years ago, and for some reason he thought that I had my own radio show. No, I did not. You must be thinking of somebody else. So that conversation ended up leading to the possibility of us having a podcast. Um, at the time, the old team wasn't real supportive about it, but we still talked about it. It was going to be our own little thing, and we started discussing how do we want to approach this. Do we want this just to be your normal run of the mill show, or do you want this to be something different, something fun, something educational, which is what we wanted. So we came up with a list of like 100 different topics that we wanted to talk about, and we wanted this to be informational. And when it came to coming up with a name, we had a whole list of names. And the 13th Dimension was actually a name that I created, and I just, didn't really think anything of it. I was just making up names, threw it in the list, but I really liked that name. I threw it in the list, and Scott saw it and was like, you know what? That name sounds like it's us. And that's how 13th Dimension was formed. And a little over a year ago, I got invited to be a part of the Paranormal United Network. And that was just as show host. Nothing about co-ownership or anything like that. It was just to put a show on the network. I talked to Scott. He agreed. And from there, we reached out to Crystal Kohler to be our researcher so that we would actually know what we were talking about. And then from there, her husband, Tim, who's been one of my best friends for the last 12 years, 13 years, something like that. And I had no idea that Tim and Scott had known each other for well over 20 years. And over the years, I had been talking to both of them about joining the team, but they weren't able to for one reason or another, family and things like that. But now both of them, by sheer coincidence, right at about the same time, got to where they were able to come join the team. And I was like, how did this happen? So, and right now we are in the middle of a break. We're just showing some old shows on reruns. Like tonight is going to be the Halloween special that we did last year. That was so much fun. And when we come back, it'll be the first week of October. And we're going to be going to a new time. So instead of going from 7 to 9 Eastern, we're going to be doing 8 to 10 Eastern.
Oh,
And
cool.
the reason being is because of my work schedule. My normal work schedule is supposed to be 6 to 6. But because of the pandemic, they move us down from 5:30 to 5:30 so that we don't have so many people coming into the building all at one time, kind of stagger us a little bit. I'm expecting them to move us back to 6 to 6. And if that happens, it's going to leave me literally no prep time to get ready for the show on Friday nights. So that's why we're going to be moving an hour later so that I actually have that time to get prepared for the show when I get home from work.
Very cool.
25 minutes to get home.
Well, people will be waiting. They'll be anxious to the return of the new live episodes of 13th Dimension on the Paranormal United Network. Well, here, this wasn't a question I was going to ask, but since you got into this field, not having had an experience with spirit, let's just check off the boxes. Are you a believer?
I am.
We don't have much time left, but let me go down the list here. What do you think a ghost is?
We are.
Do you believe in angels?
You know, I'm not really sure because I'm not a religious person, but I'm not gonna say that heaven and hell doesn't exist or God and Satan don't exist. I'm not gonna say that because I don't have any evidence that says that they don't exist or that they do exist. But I do believe in the possibility of all of that existing
So you
because
believe in demons, or if not demons, at least some spirits that can behave in a very malevolent manner.
yes, I do believe in that, and that there are some evil spirits out there. Um, Demons. It. This is where I feel like I contradict myself because when a true demonic case comes up, it's something that is extremely rare. But I just kind of go with it because I know that's what everybody is used to. But I feel like I contradict myself because I'm not saying that I am a believer. I'm not saying that I'm not a believer. But if it's something that can be thought up, it's possible.
What about elementals, non-human spirits, and elementals, creatures from the netherworld, the world in between the two worlds that mainly are attached to like nature and land and property?
I do believe those two exist. Why I don't know, but I do believe that those do
Well,
exist.
I believe, I could be wrong. I believe you're here doing what you do for a reason, and you could be. I suspect you are gifted, and over the years, that gift will manifest itself more and more for you and make itself known to you, and you'll come to recognize it as being a piece of the fabric that is of you as time goes on. But that's what I suspect, and that's why your many things that you do and many things that you believe and or are on the fence about is because of this gift. So I think that's going to happen for you as time goes on. But in just a moment we have left, everybody has that ta-da moment that lets them know they've made it. Another first for me. I've never seen this before. Like I never saw the paranormal investigator biker jacket, biker leathers. So here's something else I've never seen. You've made it when your face shows up on the crotch of women's exercise shorts.
Oh no, not that.
That's
I have no idea what possessed him to do that. We,
yeah,
we were just talking about merchandise, and I was only even joking at this point. I was like, "Hey, put me on a shirt," and I was just joking about that. So a few
I
days later, I see the shirt, and I thought, okay, well, I'm going to go down what all we have here available, and I see that, and I'm like, Steven, really?
brilliant. I think it's brilliant. Come on, now let's be honest here. Okay, everybody that's watching the show, look at his face, look at Jeremy's face. Now, you can't picture my face on the crotch of women's exercise shorts. That's creepy. So go with it. I just want to know when on the back end of those shorts, what is it? Is it your face again, or do they see the back of your head?
No, it's like a wraparound. There's a small part of my face that wraps around the leg, and yeah, it's like that. But the thing is, the it's selling.
I think it's brilliant, brother. Go with it. People do that kind of
I
stuff.
have gone with. I've got no other
Yeah,
choice.
people go with it because people do that kind of stuff when they love you. And so you have a lot of friends and family and people in the field that you work with that love and respect you. That's why they do that sort of stuff. You have people who have my kind of sense of humor around you, and that's rare. So go
Yeah.
with it. We have Steven's back again because he probably didn't feel he harassed you enough yet. Steven says, get with us at the Paranormal United Network or Jeremy York. We do have a ton of resources for beginners in the field. Thank you for that, Steven. That's awesome because I do get a lot of people that don't know what they're doing reaching out to me, and that's mentorship is is that's what we have to start bringing back to the field. Fun. I'm trying to bring the fun back in the paranormal field and mentorship. There's not a lot of it out there, and these new teams go out there. They
You
find
should see
themselves.
when some of us get together. We have a lot of fun.
It'll happen one of these days, brother. I'll come. Something will happen, an event or something, and I'll be able to make it. And
What about
we'll
Fearfest?
we'll see. We'll see. I'm kind of waiting to see what happens here with it's starting to get a little crazy here in my town,
Mm-hmm.
and we're gonna wait and see what happens because we were, like I was telling you in the green room before the show started, we were thinking about going to see a football game, a Raider game this year. We were thinking there's a big paranormal convention supposedly going to come here in December in the MGM, but things are starting to get a little crazy here in town. I'm gonna wait and see what happens, but I didn't get to everybody's question. You're just going to have to come back. Did you have fun when you come back?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
God bless you, brother. If you were there, I'd give you a big hug and a kiss. Thank you so much for spending an hour out of your busy Friday afternoon to hang out with me and my viewers. And I want you to, you're on the prayer list, brother. I'll pray for you. I love you. I respect you. Do what you do. Don't change. Have a great Friday evening. And I'll see you when I see you.
Thank you.
All right, brother. God bless you.
I'm looking forward to it.
Good night, brother.
Good night.
Jeremy York, the Yorkster, the only paranormal investigator who wears a paranormal investigator biker jacket. I love that. And whose face appears on the crotch of women's exercise shorts. Awesome. Because my face ain't going to be on one of those. I love the guy. Very cool dude. Brings a fresh approach to this field. We need that. And I love the idea of the mentorship, bringing mentorship back to this field for the newcomers, the next generation. That's brilliant. Let me take a moment to thank my producer for introducing me to Jeremy. They're very close. Adrian Hart, aka Ghost Granny, Desert Heart Paranormal, also a bigwig in the Paranormal United Network. And I couldn't do my show without her. I also don't have a show without all of you. So God bless you all for tuning in. And I will be here next week. Uh-oh. Scare alert. Scare alert. It's Friday the 13th, next Friday. And yes, I will be here with, you're going to love her. She's an American high priestess, lineage initiated witch. She's the real deal. Some of you know her, some of you love her. And if you don't know her, you're going to love her by the time that show's over. Solaris Blue Raven will be here next Friday, Friday the 13th. So, on that note, guys, stop the violence, stop the violence, stop the violence. Work on turning the other cheek. Work on curbing your anger. Anger is just a punishment we put on ourselves for somebody else's mistake. God bless you all. Good night, Jack. Good night, Dog. Good night, Harold. Rest in peace. Good night, Ernie. Good night, Bill. Good night, Dan. God bless you all. I love you all. Peace. Good night, everybody.